Hey, my name's Eric, and I'm animating faces, or I'm making animated faces that you can talk to. Where have I been? If anyone cares, I've had COVID. I don't past the brunt of it, and I just feel like I've got a cold. But yeah, I assume I have that strain, which is just all the rage. Seems to be the most popular variant. I forget what it's called. 5.1.2.5x9 Omicron DX. They could do a better job of naming these strands. Just use the hurricane naming system or something like that. Or yeah, I don't know. I totally forget. It's like, anyways. I've been writing code despite being sick. I haven't been streaming. Um, my brain's working just fine, which is great. Which is the worst thing to me, at least about COVID that I can imagine, which is my brain doesn't work. Now that's kind of stupid because if you die, then that's worse, I suppose. But just imagining like long COVID brain fog stuff just terrifies me. Just terrifies me. So I'm happy to be on the other side of it. I'm happy to be feeling better. All right, let's demo. Let's demo all this work I've been doing. Okay, so I got pretty busy on the persistence. The idea is that as you make changes, it saves it to something kind of like a file system, but it's on your local browser. So if I look over at inside this developer tab, there's something called application. I'll pull this out a little bit so that it's visible. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. And then after by the way, if you're using Chrome, you have access to this developer tab too. You just go up here and you're a developer, and you say developer tools, and it makes this thing pop up, and it's got all kinds of neat stuff. But if you do like to play around with it, I would caution you on one point. Every once in a while, somebody says, here, you can do this clever thing by taking a little bit of code and running it inside of your console window. Don't listen to those people. That's like a way to get yourself hacked. So you should always understand what code you're posting into the console window. It is an attack vector. Okay, but if you think about it more just in a read-only way, the developer tools is actually a pretty useful thing for a lot of people that use browsers but aren't even coders to look at, because it'll show you what information that your browser is storing in IndexedDB and all these other types of storage. It'll also show you on your network tab what calls it's making to web services, and it'll show you error messages down the console window. So sometimes, like, you go onto your favorite web app or like a banking site or something like that, and you say it's not really working right now, it seems to be broken, and then you can go to your network tab and see, like, oh, it's trying to call a service and that service isn't responding. What does that mean? Maybe I should try this again later after they fix their friggin' service. Or it might be coming back with an error message, and you can read the error message, and it might tell you something like that you could do to change your input that could cause it to work. So you can, like, kind of hack your way through websites. You can also get at the DOM elements. Sometimes you go to a pay site and it'll put like this layer over the top of what you're trying to read, and it'll say, if you love the New York Times, consider subscribing, and then we'll unlock the rest of this website for you. And maybe you just don't give a crap about supporting that website. You just want to read this one article. You can go in and you can delete that overlay. You can go into the elements and you can say, this overlay that's over the top of everything, just take it out. Anyways, I got off on a big tangent there. Coming back to this application view. If I look at Wisp, Wisp is storing information about the application inside of this thing, like a table in database terms, called key value. I named it key value. It could be named pets or fruits or whatever you want to call it. And each one of these rows is like, it's like one file in a file system. I've got a project file. The project file, keeps some information like this. It says a certain time when the project was created, and then it says what the last selected face was, and it's called My Stupid Face 3. Now underneath here, there's a bunch of records, one for each face. They're under this faces folder, which is kind of a virtual folder. There's no actual folder in the file system, although it does beg the question, what's real or what's virtual on a computer? But it's not using like the same file system that you use to store files. It's using this little construction that I've created inside of browser's persistent storage. And for each one of these, I'm saying we have a face, and it's got a file associated with it. Technically not really a file, but I'm making virtual files, right? So there's a key, there's a path, so that I can select all the faces that are at the faces path. There's a MIME type, that'll come into play later on, that when I create like an export that puts it all in the zip file that you can use. And there's the text itself, or the payload of it, or the content of it. And it's got the same information as I would put in one of these YML files, YAML files that I've been working with throughout the project. But it's just stored here in this persistent store. Now I can make some changes to this face here. I'll change the hair, and maybe I'll make the nose go up a little bit. I'll make the mouth go up a bit. Okay, and then it's automatically saved at this point. So if I go and close this tab, I'm just gonna first I'll copy the URL, but now let's delete this tab. So before sometime this week, if I did this, just come back to the same app and click into it, it would have loaded a default face. Now it's grabbing this face from persistent storage. You might think that's kind of a little bit slow. We saw that long loading thing. Is it really taking that long to retrieve things from the browser? No, it's not. It's lightning fast. So fast. What's taking a long time is the recoloring. So it does this pixel by pixel operation to recolor all the assets for the hair color change. And that takes a while. At some point I'll address that, but for now I'm leaving it in. It's kind of a good way to force me coding for the asynchronicity of the operation, because the operation's slower. Later on I'll make it fast. But that may involve caching, or it may involve a little bit of WebAssembly code that's brought in to do the pixel recoloring, or it may be a change to WebGL for rendering and use of shaders to do the recoloring very fast. Okay. So I also have an ability to rename. I created this new dialog. I will say one thing about creating text input dialogues that have validation. It's not like a very hard task, but it's like medium difficulty. There's a lot of ways to get it wrong. I had one bug, which I've seen on other websites too, where you select this, and then because you're in a hurry to select things, you'll go way off to the left. So say you come to this dialog and you want to replace this text. Okay, so you say, first I got to just select all the text and go off to the left. And what was happening when I let go is it closed the dialog. Why is it closing the dialog? Because it's a valid thing to close the dialog by clicking outside of the dialog area. and it effectively is the same thing as hitting cancel. So I go here, it cancels. But it was closing on that little swipe like that until I fixed it. That's a bug I've seen at least 2 other places, including GitHub. In fact, I think I can go to GitHub and reproduce it right now. So if I go to go to any repository, and then I go to Wisp, and I say, oh, here's this SSH URL. I want to grab that for myself. Oh, that's not where it happens. Okay, that they did it right there. They fixed it recently. Let's see. Here's another one. YouTube. And let's go to one of my videos. And let's see, we'll go into here. And then we go to, say, share. Okay. So then I do that same kind of swipe and drag too far thing. Then I let go, and the dialog disappeared. So it's a very common bug, and I had to fix it. The other thing that I did was validation, which is another of those things you just take for granted. Like, it should be pretty easy. Pretty simple, right? But I had to rewrite it 3 different ways to get it to be correct. There's 2 types of validation. One is as you type, which characters are allowed. So if you try to type the path separator, it would cause some problems. So I made it so you could not type the path separator. Now the other kind of testing is the pre-submission validation. So this type of validation, you have to let the user be able to make the mistake before you can tell them about it. You couldn't just like stop them from editing the text such that you would avoid the mistake. That was interesting. I tried doing that, and there were things like I had a rule that said you can't have space at the end or at the beginning. I figured out after a bit that it just made much more sense to just trim that for the user. And then the other one was extra spaces, because I didn't want there to be a confusingly similar set of names, essentially. So I was disallowing you to have extra spaces, but that made problems because, like, if you tried to delete like this guy, it would cause you to have 2 spaces there. And essentially, for some types of things you want to validate against, you have to let the user go ahead and screw up and do it first, and then refuse input. Or even better than that, just correct the input when they click submit. And it's so stuff like this, it doesn't seem like it's very complex or there's much to it, but it just takes a while. The last one I've got that's checking is for duplicate names, because I don't want you to be able to give a new name that's the same as another name. The name must be unique. All right. So rename face works. The other thing that works is new, and that was a little bit difficult. Let's see, there's little things too, like the default name of the face that comes in here. I wanted it to start as a unique value. It wouldn't make sense to me to do this, because then the user is like, they start off with a value that couldn't possibly work. Name must be unique, and it's like I'm automatically chastising them before they've even done anything, which is kind of irritating, right? So there's some code that says let's keep on incrementing this number until we get one that's unique. All right. So I have got everything on this screen working except open, import, and export. Today I'm going to work on open. Open is just going to be a dialog that comes up and says pick which face you want to open. It's like a file browser, essentially. I've already got the code that will go and give me a list of all the names that are available. I'm not going to make a super deluxe version of this. I'm tempted to store some thumbnails and display those thumbnails like I did with the heads and the other parts that you can change. Let me see. Better example is the nose. Yeah. The trouble is that these thumbnails, they can't be loaded that quickly, and they could take a long time. And before I'm willing to add thumbnails, I need to add image caching. And that's going to be fairly complex. So I'll just create a dialog that shows the names and the last modified times of different faces. And then you can pick one and it'll open that one. All right. So that's what I'm up to. By the way, all this code is open source and it's available on GitHub. Let's see, where? Oh, how irritating. Oh, jeez. I just wanted to post to the chat window, and it needs me to log in, which needs me to do two-factor, and then, oh, I can't do that on stream. God damn it. All right. On my second screen that's off screen, I'm doing two-factor so I can log into Twitch. And all of that, so I can just, oh, stop it. So friggin' annoying. 6, 4, 5, 8, 7, 4, 5, 5. 6, 4. They don't have a copy and paste interface to their two-factor. Okay. Now I'm logged in. Now I lost my clipboard from this operation, so I will do it again. Boom. All this just to paste this dumb little message. All right. There. All right. Back to it. Back to real stuff. Wisp. Okay. Dialogue. Thing that I'm going to be creating is going to be what? UE dialog. No, I think it'll just be unique to that. Well, I could do a general purpose dialog. I'll call it document chooser. Okay. I feel like I might be well served by copying from part chooser as a kind of as a boilerplate to start from. Is it part loader? No. Where did that go to? Okay, so back over here. Here's the part choosers. Okay, here's my thing for that. And then document chooser dialog. Okay. Okay, so the props I want to bring in here. Well, yeah, I do need that. Okay, selected. Okay, so this needs to be, let's see, documents. And what is it? It could be key. Hold on. So go back to persistence, passdoor. I've got this one record type up at the top, key value record, which I'm not exporting yet. Do I want to have this be an export, and there'll be some method that will return this? That makes some sense. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's do that. Selected key or what's the name? Okay. On change, it'll be a change callback, and this will be document name. Getting rid of stuff I know I won't need. On cancel. Okay, good. Title, yeah, we'll need title. Okay. You know what would be nicer is to pass back. No, don't overthink it. Start with this. Document chooser row key equals say this is going to be documents. Selected document name. No, I spent all this work getting the document name to be unique. So let's use that for the key. Although, what? What? Come on. Yeah, okay. Then let's see. Document sort. Document. Oh, you gotta do it like A, B, A, last modified. That's B, last modified, okay. And then key equals name. Okay, let's see, bitmap. No bitmap. Later on, maybe. Click equals on change. Name. Okay, so I'll end up having to implement this too, but that's just some straight HTML and CSS. Okay, documents. Render rows. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I can see some stuff I should be doing. Rows, set rows. Open, and we'll do styles, rows. row list. And this will be rows. Okay. Pretty good. Then let's add a CSS module. Okay, and then what was this? Rows list. And yeah, okay. Styles import there. So next thing would be to do this document chooser row thing. I think I might take a look at this guy just for a moment. Yeah, this is going to be more complicated than what I need. And so, nah, this will be super simple what I need. Document chooser row. Document chooser row. Okay, then we do interface props, and it's gonna be it's open. Let's see, what am I passing? Is selected on click. Not is open. Okay. Is selected on click, key is built in. Is selected. I'm gonna need to pass more stuff than what I just said, but on click is gonna be no. No, I don't need the row now. Let's do document name string. Now do that. Okay, and then I will need to pass in the document name. All right, let's keep this baby simple. Not sure what it's complaining about yet. Maybe Oh, just import fragment. There you go. Class name equals styles row. I suppose I could pass in last modified number. Okay, so we'll do const document name, last model, just all of them, destructure them, on click equals props. Okay, then let's do const row style equals selected, and we'll either do styles row or styles row selected. On click equals is selected, null, on click. Okay, then document name. What? Oh, you gotta do ignore the event and pass in instead the document name. Okay. What? Which thing could be null? Let's add an extra line so I can see what is being complained about more clearly. Use on click. I hate that this word use has been appropriated by React, and I've had it at my own conventions much longer than when they used it. At some point maybe I'll need to can I do undefined? Yeah, I can. Okay. Document name, and then I gotta figure out what the JavaScript is for formatting dates. such a complex answer for a commonplace task. There is a point that accounting for internationalization, there could be some complexity to it, but isn't there just a function in JavaScript that says take the locale based on whatever is selected in the user's browser and format dates accordingly? Isn't there just that? Yeah, let me look at that. This person may be onto something. Okay. Date, prototype. Okay, date to locale date string. And then if I don't pass anything, the host locale. Yes, good. Good. Okay. Good old MDN. Okay. So I could say new date, pass in the value, and then say to locale date string. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That should do it. Now this needs to import. What? Yeah, you're right. Okay, and what was that one? Last modified equals document. Last modified, bam, like that. Oh man, that's terrible. That's what everyone wants to hear, is me coughing. That might be a good enough reason not to be streaming right about now. Like, I'm not bothered by my coughing, but I just don't want to, like, I don't know. I have a small sense of showmanship, and my sense of showmanship says I don't want to be gross while I'm on the stream. So I think I'll wrap this up. And let's just call that a stream. I'll keep working, but I'm not going to stream it. I'm going to just recover a little bit more so I'm not on the stream. All right, stopping the stream. Catch you later.